When I graduated from high school, a lot of my classmates thought that I would go on to major in a college for math or science or some sort of job that involved a lot of math or science. But I ended up not doing that, and as a result, I haven't taken a math class for 6 years. With that in mind, I thought I might as well try to go back to my roots of 7th grade. So I thought that today I would try to tackle one of those tricky but yet favorite math disciplines, and that is algebra. According to Wikipedia, the word algebra comes from the Arabic. It means the reunion of broken parts. Just like me when I'm drinking, or just like me when I stop drinking. So I thought I'd try a few algebra problems right here on the screen, see if I remember anything from middle school. So let's get like a sample problem here and see what we can do. So let's say it's, I don't know, x minus 2 equals 5. Okay? That's an easy enough problem. So what you want to do is you want to isolate x by saying plus 2 to both sides, because you can't just take it away from one side without doing it to the other. So you're left with x equals 7. You've solved for x, because that is the one thing that you want to do in algebra. That's what it all comes down to, solving for that big X. Now, I know what you're gonna say, that we should let X, or actually we should help X solve its own problems. But see, the thing is about that is that's taking a very selfish approach. If you want to help X, the worst thing you can do is leave it alone, because it's our client and we have to help it solve for itself. And to do that, we have to teach it. So you have something like x minus 2 equals 5. Hey, X, are you listening? My X never did. So you'd still have plus 2 to both sides, plus 2 to both sides. You'd still have X equals 7. So what does that 2 represent, though? Let me think of a joke first. The 2 represents the baggage that it brings into any relationship, whether that be friendship, romantic, or professional. If you remove the 2 from the x, the side of the equation of the x, then you can get down to the deepest part of that variable. And then you have what you have right here. Suddenly you know what the problem is, and x can deal with it itself. So let's try to find some more complicated algebra problems, shall we? Okay, here's one. 4x plus 6 equals negative 10. So again, you want to isolate that x. And clearly, I mean, look, the x has been putting on a few pounds. So we've got to remove the emotional trauma and the physical issues it's dealing with as well. Am I comparing a coefficient to weight gain right now? Welcome to YouTube, everybody. So you take minus 6, you take minus 6, that's 4x equals negative 16. Remember, because this was negative 10. So then you divide it. I made the joke last time that a house divided couldn't stand, right? We'll make that same mistake again. If you put x through an extensive weight loss process, you can take off that extra 4 pounds and maybe even see that that's part of your emotional problems as well. So you're left with x equals negative 4. Psychiatry. Here's a little bit of a harder one. So you have negative 10x minus 19 equals 19 minus 8x. Now you're dealing with a couple, right? You have x1 and x2. Actually, isn't that a math thing, right? Or you can do x prime 1, or no, we just call it x prime, that's right. And then x prime 2, or something like that, secondary, whatever. x1 and x2, let's call it that. x1 and x2 equals, wait, I need my red pen for this, equals they're married, or at the very least, in a relationship. But things are on the rocks because you got these two 19s, and they both gained weight exponentially. I totally thought I accurately used that word. It's not quite there yet. Wait till I do polynomials, and then I'll be able to use it. So here's the thing we want to help them out with. We want to help them deal with couples therapy. But the problem is that we don't really know what the problem is. Whoa, did I just say that? We gotta put them down to their basic level in order to find out what the problem is so that they can deal with it on their own in very, very practical and simple yet effective ways. You add 19 to prime 2. I assume x1 would be the wife and x2 would be the husband, probably. I don't know. You can imagine whatever. So then those cancel out because negative 19 plus 19 is 0. And then 19 plus 19, why did I put equals there? Then 19 plus 19 equals 38. So then you have negative 10x equals 38 minus 8x. Here we have another problem. How do I do this? My medical training didn't train me for this. My lack of psychiatry training didn't train me for how to deal with problems this deep. Oh yeah, that's right, I remember. You want to reconcile them, right? You literally want to do that. So you want to add 8x to both sides. Because oftentimes when a couple is having issues, or not necessarily issues, I shouldn't use that word, when they're having troubles or problems, it usually stems to one thing, and that's usually one similar thing on both sides. You have negative 10x plus 8x equals negative 2x. See how much weight they can lose just by talking about their problems? That's how it works. Equals 38. Now, you divide, you help them lose even more weight, or actually it's negative, so they've lost too much weight. So now they're kind of building back that muscle. You have divided by negative 2, divide by negative 2, and you have x equals 19. So now you have 19 problems to deal with in very simple and effective ways. So there we go. Couples therapy. Okay, so now we're going a little bit into uncharted territory, or at the very least, it was charted, but then we lost the maps. I'm talking, of course, about more complicated algebraic equations that involve more than one variable. It's the parentheses. It involves parentheses. They're complicated, okay? And to do that, we're gonna need a little bit more help from the purple pen, because purple. I'm wearing purple. I was motioning to my shirt. Anyway, 5 times the quantity of negative 3x minus 2 minus the quantity of x minus 3 equals negative 4 times the quantity 4x plus 5 plus 13. X has gotten himself into a sitcom-style string of events that are very complicated and very hard to get out of. Now, hilarity might ensue, but what's he gonna do once those 24 minutes are over, plus commercials? He can't just go back to how things were and wait for the next episode. So we've got to solve his problem for him, because he's our client. Now, a part of me wants to figure this all out, because what somebody did here is just factor it, which, for some places, is the right way to solve the equation. But that's not me. So we have negative 15x minus 10 minus x plus 3 equals negative 16x. That'd be it. Whoa, can you do that? No. Would it be 0? Let's say it is. Divided by negative 14, divided by negative 14, that means that x equals, so you have 0 equals negative 2x, which means that x equals 0. Sometimes, when you're dealing with therapy as much as I have, and helping X find their problems, or solve their problems, I guess, and then equipping them in order for them to solve their own problems, sometimes you deal with a problem like this, where there are no problems at all, at least on the surface. But then, you get even more deep into the equation, and it becomes like a double indemnity and you don't know how to get out. You suddenly have... How do you deal with that as a professional? Sorry, it brings back memories. And in order to solve this problem, we're gonna need the red pen. Because you know what solves all problems? What solves all emotional and physical and mental problems? And spiritual problems too, why not? Again, I think I'd be good at drawing hearts considering it's literally the channel logo. Love. That's the only thing that'll solve your problems, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have love in your life, then everything will just tumble. Everything will be like a building that just goes down into the ground. It'll be just like a bulldozer came along and just mowed it all down. You don't know where it came from. It just came from the great ether, like some big galaxy wormhole just emptied it out, and then suddenly that's not a swastika, I swear. When you keep an open mind, sometimes even a problem as weird as x squared plus x equals 41, let's say. If you have a problem like that, nothing can stop you if you have just the simple power of love, baby. So that's been algebra in a nutshell. We've had some fun today, we've had some laughs, we've had some tears, but I hope you go into the world and know a lot more things about solving for x, because sometimes it doesn't mark the spot, like on a map. Here, let me draw you a map, real quick. Say we have a map like right here, right? Okay, you have like a scroll like that. Okay, sometimes you have an X on that map. Sometimes it's best to just leave it alone. Sometimes it's best to try to solve it the best you can. But the best way to do that is with little hearts all over. Those represent love to a degree. If you're after that pirate's booty, no treasure is greater than love. Maybe I wasn't meant to go into math or science, but into couples therapy. As good as I am drawing hearts, can't get any better than that, right? Looks like a pretzel.